My dear viewers, this is my second video on designing of project work. So I will add on some topics to my first video. So the first video I want to add a few add-ons in that one. First of all, I was discussing about the designing of project work. So you should also know what is the difference between a project work and practical. This is very basic because students, doing the project is nothing but you are going to take up a research problem. Whereas in practical, if you see, practical is nothing but you are going to perform regularly in your laboratories where it is already you know the problem and you also know the outcome. Where the protocols or procedures are already standardized. Whereas in the project, we are going to standardize. And we are going to nothing but optimization, and we are going to look for the reproducibility. The results are coming or not. So I want to tell you the difference between practical and project. Practical means already protocol is established, well established. Just we are going to execute the different steps which are there in the practical. Whereas in project we are going to, reframe, or we are going to schedule the procedure, different steps which are present in the procedure. So this is what the difference between the practical and the project. Always project is going to deal with a research problem which has been not done. Whereas in practical you are being practiced to do some kind of sequence of steps which are already established. Whereas again in project, the steps are not established. You are going to optimize and you are going to reproduce. In the last video I told you about what is optimization, setting the different parameters accurately to perform an experiment, and reproducibility is nothing but getting the results again and again. This is very important, which you have to check when you complete your project work. And I forgot to tell you that, so these are the different type of elements which we are going to use in the report writing or project thesis writing. So this title page, declaration, certificate, acknowledgement, index page, contents, abstract, introduction, objective, hypothesis, material methods, experimentation, results, discussion, conclusion, references and bibliography. Altogether, this has to come in between 40 to 50 pages, and see that whole the text is in Times New Roman of 12 font, and moreover, wherever headings are there, see that the font size is 14 bold. Are you getting the point here? You have to set the font. Font Times New Roman is very official. Always it should be 12 in number, regular text. Whereas the headings should be 14 and it should be bold. And moreover, I was telling that not always projects are laboratory based. Sometimes projects can also be performed field based or survey based, which is also called as meta-analysis. Nowadays people are going to do some kind of field based or survey based or meta-analysis studies that also come under some project works. Moreover, I was telling that you have to look for fellowships, different type of fellowships which are available around the year. Sometimes you may not get the chance, but you may get the chance of doing your project work in good laboratories, even in private institutions sometimes. And if you perform without funding also, that will be a great exposure for you people. And I want to tell you that always project is worthy, and try to perform it not in your home institution, do it in other institutions, so that always multi-institutional credentials or certificates will give lot of weightage to your curriculum vitae or biodata. And moreover, I want to tell you that please try to subscribe my channel and my videos, and moreover, every video content related PDF. In addition, I am going to provide you the notes in the form of PDF. So I request all of you subscribe my channel, and in addition I will also, if you personally contact me, I will also give you the notes. Please note down my number 48705652. In addition to these video contents, I will also provide you the very clear notes. And coming back to the second video topics which I am going to deal on the designing of project work. So in this video I will quickly cover three different areas. One is scientific publication writing. So after completing your project work, after writing your reports, again that reports are having some novelty, or that report is having at least some efficient results, that you have to publish. Always, why you have to publish? Why? Because we have to contribute for the development of whatever the field it may be, either it may be science, arts or humanities. Until and unless you try to communicate them, until and unless you publish them, it do not be considered as a work, because you are trying to contribute for the development of research and developmental process. So it is very important you should know about the scientific publication writing, so which is nothing but writing the research communications, which are also called as research articles sometimes, and which are also called as research simple papers. These are also called as simple papers. I will deal with this one, and I will also deal after writing your scientific publications. These research communications will have some, we are being published in some journals which are having some impact factor. Impact is nothing but having some weightage of quality of work which you are going to publish. Then after publishing, sometimes, most of the times, your work is again being used by somebody else, which is nothing but citations, so which are represented with H index. I will also explain about this, and then I will also explain you after writing these research papers, which are also called as manuscripts initially, manuscripts, and these manuscripts are being submitted to the different journals for the publication, and that process is called as a peer review process. Submission and reviewing your paper, whether it is published or rejected or revised. So that process is nothing but peer review process. And the second topic which I am going to deal today is research ethics and plagiarism. This is very important. Why? Because ethics are very, very important. Until and unless your work is very genuine, until and unless your work is realistic, it do not get published in impact factor journals which are under peer review process, because they are going to check the genuinity. So that genuinity you have to maintain as a part of research ethics. And plagiarism. Plagiarism is nothing but, in this era of Google and Google Scholar and internet resources, where you are habituated, most of the students habituated of copying things, cut, copy, paste, and doing like this, taking somebody else's work and proving that that work has been done by you. So I mean to say that taking somebody else and you are claiming it as your own work. This is a big problem nowadays in research and writing the research publications. Nothing but how to avoid the plagiarism. Nowadays there are several tools which are available. Turnitin and urkund are the important softwares nowadays used to rate or to know the percentage of copying things. Copying things including maybe text, it may be tables, or it may be some analytical data, or it may be some kind of formulations, which is not recommended in order to develop the scientific community, or in order to develop any field of research. And then coming to, I will also tell you how to write research reports. Why? Because after getting a good exposure of a great project work, you will, whenever you take up higher studies of PhD, whenever you complete, you will become an efficient scholar or efficient researcher, scientist of writing the research projects for funding. As I told you that without funding and without sponsoring, we have to look for the materials, methods, experiments, equipment, and field-based studies where we want some travel elements, all these being met until and unless we have very good projects. So we have to always come with a good proposal so that we will get a guarantee projects. So I will first of all deal about the scientific publication right. So scientific publication writing, which is also called as research communications or research articles, research communications or research articles, simply they are also called as papers. And these papers, these research articles and research papers are of three different, or nearly of several types. In that one is technical papers. Technical papers, nothing but lab-based research papers are called as technical papers. Again, these may be full length or these may be short communications. These are nothing but which are laboratory based research communications called as technical papers. Then second one is reviews, overview of reviews, nothing but review, you know that all together the concept, all together the developments of a particular area is being written in the form of reviews, nothing but updated information is nothing but reviews. Apart from that, this is also a kind of a research communication or research article. Apart from that, book chapters, writing book chapters is also a contribution. Sometimes you may be reviewing the things, and publishing in some kind in very good book publishers such as Springer, elsewhere. And then followed by that, sometimes some people may be writing nearly 300 to 500 words of what you call corresponding letters or editorials. So these are the different type of research communications which are generally published or which are being prepared. So whatever the kind of the paper it may be, initially we are going to write it. So it is called as a manuscript. It is called as a manuscript. So these manuscripts are being prepared, and you have to keep in your mind that always these manuscripts should not be away from your objectives which you want to publish, objective related research or objective related outcomes. So it should be, first of all, it should be within the objectives, and see that it is as simple as possible, and see that it is grammatically very sound, and see that the abstract is very clear, nothing but the summary content is very clear, and don't use jargon words, terminology, special terminology. Don't use any kind of a special terminology. And moreover, see that your publication should be very good enough, very long enough, and at the same time it should be short enough, so that the reader should not lose the interest. Lose the interest. Moreover, another point is that this writing the manuscripts will come out of your experience. How best you are going to read the more articles, and it is simply experience, I can say, and it is not just because of what you call not mere doctrinations, nothing but your strong desire will not make you to write the manuscripts. It will come out of, it's an art, I can say that writing manuscripts and communicating them is an art. It will come out of the experience. The more you read the research articles, the more the experience you will get. I think if you keep these points in your mind, you can write very good publications. Yeah, coming back to the other topic, impact factor. So after peer review process, first of all I will cover the peer review process. Peer review process is nothing but nowadays we have to publish in journals which are being suggested by UGC and AICT. Nothing but the higher education, regulatory committees. In these recommended journals. So we have to only publish in these recommended journals, and in those journals these manuscripts are being first of all submitted. So submission nowadays, most of the submissions are online submissions. If you see, after writing a complete research paper, you are going to communicate it, and that communication include, first one is preparation of manuscript. First one is preparation of a manuscript, and second one is submission. And you are going to submit based upon the type of the research article. You will be having different type of journals, and which your paper, your manuscript fits into which journal, that you have to check. Then only you have to submit that. And moreover, those journals will be having some formats, some guidelines, which you have to go through them very thoroughly. Then you have to go for the submission. Most of the time nowadays, all journals are almost online. You have to go for the online submission. So after that, it is being initially received by the editor. So editor will have a very quick glance over your research communication. If that research communication fits into his journal, then he is going to give some kind of initial acceptance, and then followed that he is going to set nearly 3 reviewers. He is going to set nearly 3 reviewers, and these reviewers are nothing but peer reviewers. Peer is nothing but a group of people who are expertise in particular area, because particular area related people can judge very well, can write very good comments on your paper, whether either it is accepted, rejected, or it is revised. So it is submitted. Editor is going to send your manuscript to the 3 reviewers, and these 3 reviewers will take some time, and they will come up with some kind of comments. And based on these comments, the editor will make a decision. And he is going to tell whether your research communication is rejected, whether your research communication is accepted, or whether your research communication need to be revised. So in these 3 aspects, you may get the decision. So it is very clear that if it is accepted, no problem. So if it is rejected also, they are going to suggest you, the editor is going to suggest you to improve your manuscript in the areas where it is lagging back, and he will also suggest you that go for the appropriate other journal. So you should not get disappointed when things are being rejected. And the other one is, sometimes the reviewers are going to give some comments so that it is, according to their comments, it is revised. And after revisions, again it is being sent to the peer reviewers, 3 reviewers, and a decision is being taken for the publication. This is how this is called as a peer review process. So after publishing, as I told you, the journals are of different types, different quality, and some journals are having very good quality. Quality of work is being published. Moreover, that work will get lot of citations. So that quality is being represented with the impact factor, and impact factor was given by U.G. Garfield in 1955, which signifies that a particular journal is very standard, and the quality of work which is published is very high quality, and moreover the work has been gone through the process of review process, so that it is represented. Nearly 10 impact factor are the very good research communications, and if some publications which are having 5, it is also fair, good, but if it is having 1, means it is average. So that's how impact factor is very, very important. So which signifies the quality of work which is published in a particular journal. And then coming to the citations. So based upon the impact factor, obviously people are going to look for high impact factor, and they are going to download the papers of high impact factor papers. Obviously, if your paper is being published in high impact factor journals, So it is being used by other people. Always after doing project work, after publishing a paper, your work has to be carried away by somebody else. Your work has to be utilized by somebody else, so that it is a continuous process of what we call research to get societal benefits or to get the environmental benefits, whatever it may be. Yeah, coming to the H index. H index is nothing but it is what we call author-centric level standard, it is called as, where for example if the H index is 17, if I am going to tell for a particular scientist or for a scholar, is nothing but he is having 17 research publications, and each research publication is minimally cited for 17 times. 17 times. This is nothing but H index. I have made it very simplified. For example, a scientist or a research scholar is having 17 H index, means he is having nearly 17 research publications, and each publication is being cited 17 times. So which is nothing but a H index, which is a criteria of the author itself, not the journal. No, the author is nothing but either a scientist or a researcher scholar. Then coming to the research ethics and plagiarism. So while writing or while doing these experiments, you have to follow the ethics. Ethics are very, very important. That's the reason why nowadays the higher education system has introduced the peer review process, and moreover the higher education system, for example, if you say UGC care journals, UGC care is nothing but consortium of academic research and ethics. So where these are going to this particular kind of UGC care list journals are having very standard journals, and which are going to publish very quality work. So this is to maintain the ethics, nothing a consortium of academic research ethics. Ethics are very, very important. Coming to the ethics, first of all, you have to keep in your mind that people who are involved in research should be protected. That is very, very important. And moreover, the outcome of your result should not have any impact. So environmental protection is also very, very important. Along with that one, you should always maintain the genuinity in the research. That is desperate need of any ethical. And moreover, your labs which you are doing should have some standards. For example, BCL 1, BCL 2, BCL 3. These are the different standards which are being given. Moreover, you should not break any patents which are available. You should also follow some legality, is very important, like this. If you follow, and moreover, the top and the last one, which is very important one, is plagiarism. Plagiarism is nothing but you are not supposed to copy anybody else's work, and you are not supposed to claim it as your own work, because in this internet era it has become very common that people started copying the tables, diagrams, images, and whatnot, even text. People have started to copy things. So this is not a fair thing. So you have to follow the research ethics in order to overcome that, in order to filter the process of copying things from others and claiming it as your own. Nowadays there are very good softwares which are available, paid software such as Turnitin and urkund. These are the best softwares nowadays which are used to screen, because only nearly 10 to 30% is being allowed, because you cannot make everything novel, everything new text. So only 10 to 30% is the relaxation which is being given for copying things. Obviously copying is nothing but where we are going to copy research publications as the references. So I think 10 to 30% is very good. So it is recommended. Then followed by that one, so I was telling you that research proposals for the projects. So it is quite similar to that of the elements of the report writing, what we call the project report writing. It is quite similar, but the thing is that here you are not going to conclude. Here you are going to come up with a research question, and then you are going to come up with its objectives, and then you are going to come up its hypothesis, then experimental plan, and in this you are not going to do any experiments, but you are going to come up with the expected outcome which is going to help the society. So here you are also going to mention your work progress within 1 or 2, 3 years, what percentage of work you are going to cover, and how much kind of funding, amount of funding which is required, you are going to mention there. Moreover, you are also going to mention the consumables which are required, materials which are required, and the travel which you want to go, and the places which you are going to visit, the books which you want, those things which you are going to propose in the research proposals for the projects. If you have very good projects, obviously your lab is going to become sound enough to conduct various projects. So with these few keywords, I want to end up. I have covered the H index, UGC care, Carnitine and urkund, or the anti-softwares, plagiarism softwares, and Hirsch index is nothing but H index, which is author level metric, so which is going to show the standard of a particular author. Moreover, it is impact factor. Eugene and Garfield has given in 1955 the impact factor for journals based upon the quality and the peer review process. Moreover, as I told you that you have to maintain biosafety labs. Whatever the outcome which is going to come in the form of plants, animals, so which are being modified sometimes, which are not supposed to be allowed to enter into the field or into the environment. You have to take proper regulations and proper screening before you leave them into the environment. That is very important. Legality is important. You have to protect the human and environment. This is very key point, which social responsibility and protecting the patents. With this, I would like to conclude my video. I hope you will subscribe my video, and you will also get very good PDF notes if you contact me. Thank you very much. Thank you all.